So there's a Novi, a person who has divine inspiration that can see the future, etc., read minds. There's Ruach HaKodesh, obviously scholarship, piety, tzidkus. All these things are wonderful virtues, but they don't make a Rebbe. Can be a prophet and not a Rebbe. Can have Ruach HaKodesh and not be a Rebbe. And certainly be a big Talmid Chacham and a tzaddik and not be a Rebbe. A Rebbe is the heart. Rosh B'nai Yisrael, Lev B'nai Yisrael. And when you see that in the stories, the virtually countless stories of people of every walk of life that come into Yechidus or in letters, and the Rebbe knows them, he met them now for the first time. But the advice that Rebbe gives, if someone, who knows them to the depths of their being, what's good for them and their psyche and their makeup, we talk every aspect of their being, whether we're talking Gashmi as Parnasa, or family life, or psychology, or personal struggles. He just knows every aspect that is possible to be known about the person and more. And always, without fail, never failed, gives the advice and direction that this person needs, which he sees the benefit from either immediately or down the road. That is humanly impossible unless you're one with that person. Unless you're a Rebbe who feels, and not just feels, but gives chayas, like the heart and the brain, to every limb and organ of the body. It's just not possible. This is even dollars. The encounter is brief, nothing, just critical questions in life, direction, brocha. How do you answer that? Somebody once asked the Rebbe that. How does he take upon himself the responsibility? I mean, these are questions like operate, not operate, livelihood questions, where to live, but big questions that affect literally life. And how does he take that? Not a secular person would have. So the Rebbe said to him, or her, I'm not afraid to say, I don't know if I don't know. But if I know, then I'm obligated to say. Which is a brilliant, beautiful way to answer, and an honest way. If I don't know, I don't know. But the fact is that he doesn't know. And not because this is not genius or brilliance or scholarship or experience, although he has all of that, and clairvoyance and prophecy. It's posh that he feels another Yid, and that's it. And feels him to the depth, and understands a person much more than understands himself, and gives, therefore, naturally and spontaneously the advice that this person, same question somebody else asks, will get a different answer. Sometimes the same, but sometimes a different answer. For general nature, it's the same guidance, but specific. That's the most phenomenal thing. And what they're doing in these beautiful my moments, I don't know, they've got already several thousand recorded. For the most part, that's what they are. There's a lot of miracle stories, for sure. But the most beautiful stories are not the miracle stories. Because that's easy. If you're a tzaddik and a prophet, you can see the future and perform miracles. If that's who you are, that's easy. But that's not a Rebbe. It's far immeasurably more than that. The neshama, the heartbeat. And to get down to the detail of the person's life and guide them in specifics, it's just extraordinary. It's these stories that I find the most inspiring, because they're, again, expressive of Rebbe beyond all else. Rosh B'nai Yisrael, Lev B'nai Yisrael. Now, that doesn't change now. The Rebbe himself said about the Frierdiker Rebbe. You ask, he'll find his way to answer. Leave it up to him, don't worry. You ask Be'emes, and he'll find his way to answer. I'll tell you what to look out for. I think this was even on COL, an interview, not by Jim, or these meaningful moment interviews, meaningful people. They interviewed a black Lubavitcher, or black. His mother was white, is Jewish, and his father was black. And he's a shliach, and he has his children also shluchim. And his story as a kid, and how the Rebbe set him on his path as a child.
I think I watched that one. I think they just put it out a few nights ago.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah. I watched it, yeah.
And then there's an amazing one. I find it. I just happened to see it the other day. I love this one. Let me get it if I can find it. I have Jim. I'm going to try and send it to you since we're talking. Fabrengi. He's not a Lubavitcher. They also like the stories that are not Lubavitchers. Where would this be? They have a whole thing on Gimel Tammuz. Seymour. No. Marriages. I'll have to just go through it to see which it is. Life with Care. I don't know if that is that it. No, that's not it. Hidden Treasures, is that it? Hidden Treasures. So let's see if I can share this one. This is a kid.
You like school?
I'll send it to you on
No.
WhatsApp. Open a WhatsApp, I can forward it. Huh?
It's from Gem?
Yeah. Your Yossi spelled with one S, I think, right?
No, two S's, but
No, two S's.
not how you spelled it in your phone.
Yossi Schaefer. Yeah, here you are. Let's see if you'll get it. If you haven't seen this, it's a beauty. This is like mamish typical. This is a rambunctious kid. The mother's distraught, thrown out of yeshiva as a little kid. And how in this one yechidus, there's the right words and just the instantaneous love and response sets him on a path. Yeah, it's part of a series of that. So you look at that, you'll find it, you'll enjoy it. But yeah, I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sending them to me because I get very inspired by pretty much all the videos. I watch as many.
Listen, so be a member of Gem. It's peanuts.
Yeah, I did it. I normally get I subscribe on YouTube, so I get whatever clips they put out every day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I didn't not a member. I will do that.
But you can get a subscription. Just amazing. I don't know if you know the story of my yechidus. I had two. I was very fortunate that I had two because Bochum, yechidus was already, the Rebbe stopped it already in the early 70s. I forgot which year it was. But if you came from overseas, you still had yechidus. So I came from Australia. So in 1976, I had the extraordinary yechidus. But I will tell you that for another time, there's a lot of detail, is the story of the yechidus of when we were engaged, Nechama and I. So the story, this is 1980. So before I tell you the story, I'm just going to close the door so you know what else is going. So just as a context of the story, in my generation, and Halavite was the same way today, bride, chas and kala, before they're married, were not buddy-buddy. The whole dating process was very simple. We went out 4 times, and they weren't endless hours. 2-hour dates, It was very simple. It's why not? Why not? If there's something you don't like, you walk away. And then you run into the Rebbe and it's done. And then you realize that you know that marriage is about devotion and I'm building a life together. It's not about falling in love, as you spoke yesterday in the year. Falling in love is not marriage. That's, I love the way you make me feel. That's not what a marriage is. So anyway, it was a very simple world, and halavai was today. I mean, first of all, as you know, the whole system is such that before you go out, the basic research is done if you're compatible in terms of your goals in life and general background and family. All of that was in place. It was just one question. Is there charisma? Chemistry. Is there connection? The truth is, it takes one day to find out. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. How much? Even is she intelligent to the degree of all these things before. So it's all all the technical stuff. It's just is it going to click? Now the fact is, you could click with lots of girls. True, but I met this one. It clicked. That's it. Enough. Don't go further. Again, unless there's something that is a red flag. It's the healthiest way to go into a marriage. It's about knowing that a marriage is investing and devoting your life to this person. And that's the question. Can I devote my life to this person? You see a reason why not? No, that's it. Finished. And so you write to the Rebbe, and it's a done deal. So all to say is that we're not familiar with each other. We're not buddy-buddy, we're not familiar. We have a lifetime to build that. It starts in the yichud room, not before. Our language is, the person is still, wouldn't even say, I love you. It's way too intimate. That starts after marriage, such language. Never mind physical contact or anything of that nature. Unthinkable. I mean, it's thinkable, but desirable, but not first time you touch a girl in your life is in the yichud room. That's pretty powerful. I don't have to tell you. So that's kind of gives a context. So here we are. It's a day of our. You should also. It's just funny almost today to consider this because she's in Montreal and I'm in 770, and we corresponded by mail. Letters, handwritten letters. The phone calls were rare. I don't recall. Maybe spoke not too often.
Wow.
And this is, it's the healthiest way to come to the chuppah. It's tremendous excitement, anticipation, and nothing is casual, nothing's taken for granted. It's all, you're not jaded because you haven't even touched. Everything is all, there's a tremendous excitement precisely because, you know that you are going to be one and you obviously like this girl. You're in love with love, but you're not in love with her yet because in love with her means work, but you've got this connection and this chemistry and this mystique. It's all a great mystique that you're going to explore together. So therefore, we'll understand the story. Now, our Yechidus was a beautiful Yechidus, brachas for a life really of shlichus. Didn't say those words, but that was the idea to emanate the light of Yiddishkeit in our surroundings, in a warm home, children, and we got $1 to give in the chuppah. Beautiful, beautiful Yechidus. The strange thing was that the Rebbe began the Yechidus with these words. In Yiddish, he said, since you both speak Yiddish, I'll speak in Yiddish. It was very strange. Why would the Rebbe say that? First of all, I'd been in Yechidus already as a bacher previously, a number of years earlier. The Rebbe spoke in Yiddish. I'm absolutely fluent in it. It's my first language. Nachama Besifka girl, in those days when she went to school in Besifka in the 60s, they taught in Yiddish. Rabbi Volovik and others taught in Yiddish. She was fluent. That wasn't the first language. It's fluent, and she's still fluent. However, she got into her head, this is not rational, but just telling you what happened, that the Rebbe is going to ask something and she'll answer, and it won't be perfect Yiddish, and she'll be embarrassed. In front of me, in front of the Rebbe. And she said, as irrational as this fear was, it obsessed me and robbed me of what should be one of the greatest days in my life, being blessed by the Rebbe for a future life together. And all I could think was that Rebbe was going to ask me a question and I'm going to, stumble over my words and not answer correctly. And it became a monster in my head and completely obsessed me. But she says, when we went into Yechidus, and the Rebbe said these words, that whole fear just drained, these are words, drained, washed away.
Wow.
And she was able to melt into the Yechidus, and I'm telling you, Yossi, she remembered it far better than me. Now, this story, again, what's this story? That was a mind reader. Yeah, I guess he could read minds, a prophet, he could see it. It's not what happened here. This is quintessential Rebbe, so much deeper than that. This is the Rebbe instantaneously feels what this girl is feeling. It's instantaneous and says the words that will put her at ease. An analogy would be you're sleeping, it's cold, and your toe is outside the blanket and you pull it in. What's that? It's a whole process. It's cold, a whole analysis. My toe is outside the blanket. It's cold. How am I going to make it warm? Pull it into the blanket. No, it's your toe. You pull it in. There's no thought. By thought, I mean there's no deductive process. What am I going to do to solve this problem? I'll pull my toe in, and I'm going to be warm. No, it's your toe. You pull it in. It's that kind of thing. It's just, it wasn't like, what's this girl feeling? And then the whole process that I was going to, put her at ease by saying he just felt her tension, felt her fear in the most deep, natural, this is the whole point, to the Rebbe's connection to Klal Yisrael, to Neshamas, is the most natural thing in the world, like the brain, the heart's connected to the body, like the brain feels a sensation when a finger is cut, the brain feels it instantaneously. And that was that beautiful with his maybe he smiled, I don't know, but with such warmth and love, since you're supposed to speak Yiddish, I'll speak in Yiddish. And maybe even said that in English. I'm not sure what language it was, but whatever it is. Instantaneously in the Chama, she said, just washed, drained, like it filled her and it left her in a moment.
Wow. Becoming also the most mundane, but the most seemingly sounds like now the most important part, especially in the beginning, how it could have turned out. So I guess that's also part of the story, which is the most simple part becomes the most important part.
Sometimes the trivia, the little details become the whole thing.
Because it could have not gone the way it went if she didn't hear that.
For sure. No, yeah. I can't even imagine, Teba did not ask us anything, but still the fact that she's expecting any second the question, she wouldn't have been there, and it would have been a torturous experience, torture. And it was the most embracing.
Very, very beautiful.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't have time now to tell my story because it's much longer. My personal one is a bocher. God willing, we'll share it. I'll just tell you the trying to put into words as I share the story. What's the feeling like in the Rebbe's room? Being in the presence of the Rebbe.
You were by yourself?
Yeah, as a bocher alone. Yeah.
Wow.
So again, Bachim in those days were not, but overseas Bachim became for Tishrei, still had Yechidus. Before the Yechidus was phased out, and then there was the public ones downstairs, the communal Yechidus. So on the one hand, it's a curious mixture. On the one hand, you are utterly exposed. There's no hiding anything. Nothing. And so therefore that engenders obviously a sense of, I don't know what, humility, what other words? Or maybe smallness, vulnerable, frail, but at the same time, you felt completely safe. It's not a word I would have used then, but it's a word today that would be applicable. Safe, not judged, that it was here only to help you. Only to help. And therefore you are comfortable revealing comfortable, maybe not the right word, but you want to, and you do reveal every flaw and failure that you want to be fixed, that you want fixed, that you struggle with, that you want guidance and blessing. There are no secrets. There's not holding back anything. And you want to say it, and you do, or you write it. In my case, I wrote it. Completely safe. I mean, the confidentiality goes without saying. It's only between you and the Rebbe. That's obvious. But it's say far more than just it's confidential. The Rebbe's not going to tell anybody. You know that's not even on the table, obviously, even from our perspective. But it's more than that. It's just completely safe and embraced. And you're not going to be coddled, and you're not going to be you're going to get the real answer. The real answer to help. No, you're not going to get finger waving and criticism. You don't need it. When you're honest, you don't have to be criticized. You're the critic. Why is it that we're so adverse to criticism? Because when people criticize us, I know the fault. I know the fault that they're saying. So why do they get so bent out of shape when they point it out to me? Because when people criticize, I feel at least that they're dismissing me, not just my failure, not just my flaw, but me. And that's something none of us can accept, that we're total dismissal. And with the Rebbe, you don't feel that. We're dealing with a failure, a flaw, a struggle, but you're neshama. It affirms your value is affirmed in the deepest way, and you can fix this. And here's how you will. And so, exposing your failure, your struggle, your flaw, it's okay with the Rebbe because it doesn't come together with, and therefore I'm a total failure. That flaw is not me. I'm in the neshama. I can fix it. So it's very affirming in Yechidus. Very affirming. I mean, that's a weak word, much more than that. You come out, I can do it. I can conquer me, I can conquer the world too, the world that I need to conquer. As Jonathan Sachs, you have to read his interview. He actually tells it on a gem video. Yeah, it's one of the gem videos. But I read it in an article that he wrote for the Catholic British newsletter. It's called Humility. I have it somewhere in my files. And he writes about his first Yechidus as a student in Cambridge. The end of the whole story is, Yechidus, he says he realized he walked out of the room, that the room was not filled with the presence of Rabbi Schneerson. It was filled with the presence of Jonathan Sachs. The Rebbe made him see himself in a way he hadn't seen himself before. It was, in his words, life-changing. I'm sure you've heard it. If not, it's worth listening to also. I mean, all of them about it. He's so eloquent. And that's the truth. I'll conclude with a word from my sister's father, my father-in-law's father, Rabbi Chaim Gutnick of blessed memory, the legendary rabbi from Australia. He was a world figure. Anyway, he said this was in Washington, the first Gimel Tammuz where Congress had awarded the Rebbe the Congressional Gold Medal. This was a first on two accounts. They never awarded to a religious figure and never posthumously. And only 200 or less have been awarded in the history of the United States. I think less. At any rate, so it was a big thing, and people came. We chartered a plane, and this was 1995, and people came from all over the world. It was a 2-day conference, and the slate of speakers from Elie Wiesel, the entertainers, Yehuda Minuin on the violin, one of the world's greatest violinists, who all spoke there, by Steinsaltz. I mean, you had world class. And of course, great American politicians, members of Congress, the Senate. Anyway, so Chaim Gutnick spoke at the breakfast Sunday morning. We flew early in the morning, spoke at the breakfast. At night was the big gala dinner where they awarded the medal to the Rebbe Secretariat. So Chaim Gutnick said this. He said the difference between an encounter, meeting the Rebbe and other Gedolei Yisrael. Now, this man had met all the great Jewish people, great Jewish leaders of our generation. That's a story that's to be told. My brother, of blessed memory, had arranged that story for another time. Talking about all the great Rosh Yeshivas and Mokobolim and Rabbonim. He himself was a very great man. So he said the difference between meeting them and the Rebbe was that when you met these people, you felt very small. Great Kabbalist, a great mystic, a great Rosh Yeshiva, you felt humbled in their presence, you felt small. But when I came out, he said, of a Yechidus with the Rebbe, I'll quote him, he said, I felt like, and he shouted this and the walls shook, $1 million! Which the walls shook. $1 million could conquer the world. That's what the Rebbe is. That's the heart. The heart gives new oxygen and blood and cleanses the infection and helps you clean. And the brain gives sensitivity and life and function. So you plug into the heart of the brain. You, me, the finger, the toenail, whatever we are, become alive on a level that we weren't alive before. Like Jonathan Sachs said, the room was filled with the presence of Jonathan Sachs, not Rabbi Schneers. And this doesn't change. This is going to the oil, it's the same, it's the same. And it's not limited to going to the oil, plugging into the Rebbe. How does a person plug in? Chitas Rambam, by following through his Torah, mainly learning his Sichos and Memorim. That's the main way. And then doing the things that Rebbe says, Mivtzoyim, etc. A lot of campaigns, a lot of stuff to do. So when we do these things, we strengthen. To strengthen Iskashtus means to strengthen our own individual identity. As a finger is strengthened and is alive and sensitive and vibrant, when the lines, the capillary, the veins are open and flowing, and the blood flows from the heart and the nervous system is clearly connected to the brain, the more fluid, the more alive. So it isn't about, again, quoting Jonathan Sachs, he said, good leaders create followers. Great leaders create leaders. This is the point here. A Rebbe is a great leader. A Rebbe creates not followers, leaders. You're a finger, you're a foot. You do your job. Be alive and do and contribute to the great body of Klal Yisrael and bring us to our destination, which is redemption, personal and collective, which every limb and organ of the body is indispensable to. No Jew left behind. And you plug into that, you become alive, which is why Lubavitch the Lubavitchers are so independent and so confident and so creative. And And so not monolithic. No one has the same style as in other Hasidic groups where they're followers. We're not followers. Rebbe creates leaders. Okay, it's ready. Time to daven. So, Chaim, my coffee.
L'chaim.
And Hashem help us to plug in the emes and to use the koiches that we are given, each one of us, in our unique, different, and indispensable way.
Amen.
So we'll be in touch about tomorrow. I'm going to New York today. I'm not sure about tomorrow morning. Look at the chat. Just keep
I will.
keep an eye out.
I
Okay.
didn't. Thank you.
Most probably yes, but just double check.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good
So
trip.